Now, moving forward, I'd like you to see this video of so many ideas that have joined our idea space competition. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Idea Space Demo Day 2017. Yeah!
Fit Access is a digital platform designed to address behavioral change for challenged women who struggle to be fit and healthy.
Style Genie is actually a styling subscription box. So basically, we connect women to professional stylists.
HeartSmart is a connected platform that makes it possible for heart patients to do their medically supervised cardiac rehab in a local gym.
Our startup is a mobile and web-based platform for blood donors. We are 100% voluntary donors committed to life.
The Idea Space 2017 Winning Startups exhibit is now open.
SNIPE is called the Employee Empowerment Solutions. What we basically do is we try to improve employees' lives through innovation.
iPark is an integrated parking management solution. We want to help drivers find parking.
We are an on-demand valet startup that exists so people never have to stress about parking again.
Wala is cloud-based grading platform that automizes spreadsheets of our teachers.
Antipara is a coastal mapping and assessment service. We provide you with ability to see with clarity the richness of the underwater sea.
Me and my partners being new entrepreneurs, we still have a lot to learn. I mean, it's our first business and Idea Space really helped us a lot.
From an engineer, you need to be very focused about the technical aspect, so you don't really care much about what the customer needs. So when it comes to transitioning to an entrepreneur, you have to be very versatile. You have to know all aspects about your business and your market and all the things that will make your business really go.
Idea Space helped us realize our own potential, that we can do so much more than what we initially offered. They actually brought out the best in us.
For the startup community, we were all working in a company. So it was really different. Being an entrepreneur, you have to motivate yourself and you have to have really a specific passion. You have to be passionate with what you are doing.
I'm from PLDT Home Marketing to look for new ideas, innovations that could probably serve the Filipino household.
We are in collaboration and partnership with Idea Space because we believe in the talents of the Filipinos. By working with these startups, we'll somehow improve the lives of the Filipinos.
At the end of the day, that's what we really want to do, to serve people, so that the things that we build affects their lives in a very positive way.
It's hard, it's really hard. But as you push forward, you'll start realizing that dream, that passion, that something I want to create is no longer just a dream. It's a possibility.
Okay, so I move on to my third one, which is the trends and opportunities. So this is just a quick look into the trends and opportunities. So this is just this is a step back from the idea. Idea is more on the moving forward, but we need to have a look at just a few of these trends and opportunities, because as you tweak your idea, it's very important that you also have a platform where that should rise. And so looking at, I'd just be presenting almost like 5 to 6 trends and opportunities that anyone can grab hold on and develop products onto. So it could be a simpler business model. What this is a kind of trend from a brick and mortar bookstore to an Amazon kind of bookstore, where you don't have to rent a space, you don't have to have the inventory of many books, and you can only print online. You can submit it online for soft books, or for those who want hard copies, then it can also be delivered to them. But it could be an esoteric book just for that person, which a brick and mortar national bookstore cannot actually respond to. So outsourcing is a trend, no? So what are the new ideas that which can be connected to outsourcing. So with outsourcing, we talk about let machines doing the work, or you can have highly specialized kinds of demand, like looking for hard experts. So as an innovator entrepreneur, you try to capitalize on the beauty of outsourcing in order to be more cost efficient, resource maximization, etc. And it may be cliche for us, but globalization still is very impactful, very present. So what are the things that which we can draw from globalization? So you are no longer limited within the portals of your country. Like for Indonesia, it's the fourth most populous country, and Philippines is running 10 or 11 or 11 or 12. But your number actually dictates also the growth of your economy in terms of new products to sell, wider market share, etc. And how much more if you embrace the whole globe of the running 8 billion people and counting. And you also have the sharing economy. We are very familiar with Airbnb, two guys that have opened their apartment to intake transient. No, it used to be that you need to have a hotel, a property, and infrastructure, but now latent, unused properties that you have can now be translated into a Grab, into Airbnb, into like Uber. No? So for Uber and Grab, we are quite familiar that you don't need to own fleet of taxis or even drivers for that matter, but yet you earn much from pulling all this, synthesizing all these resources together. You are also looking at the rise of micro multinationals. It used to be that you cannot compete if you're just a small time player, but now with the advent of technology, this digitization, it's opening a lot of doors to your access to talent, to contract workers, advanced software solutions, cloud data storage and processing, website, sophisticated logistics, and more. So there's so much growth. Would you be able to, put up your own micro multinationals? I challenge you. The possibility is very accessible right now, unlike before. And also the new trend on print on demand. So before you go to a store where it has to be printed by mass production, but now you can just acquire a 3D printer for that matter and have a CAD CAM where it's customized on based on the demands of your customer, or a volume of books or volume of pictures that you want packaged, no, like a coffee table book. No, that kind of business can be opened, and people are looking for a DIY kind of idea, and when it's customized, then you can package it in a way that the price will really go up as compared to a mass-produced product. So now I'm moving now to my last topic on the 5 stages of innovation process. So what do we mean by innovation process? In many companies that are just starting, or even universities for that matter, that are just still starting or struggling with their innovation, sometimes there's no system at all. So it can be like a smorgasbord. No, but innovation is very important that you apply a process for sustainable competitive advantage, for customer engagement, for profitability, because the more that you can monitor and evaluate if there is a process to follow. Now, according to Peter Drucker, he defined the innovation process as a systematic approach to creating new products, services, or processes. It involves finding a need and creating a solution. It does not end there. You have to test it and you have to commercialize it. And after commercialization, it would also lead to a new form of innovation. How we attack each of these 5 stages. The first of which is the idea generation and mobilization. So we have had quite a handful of information earlier on when I discussed the creativity and idea. So that alone already explains what this stage is about in terms of idea generation and mobilization. So as I've said, ideas can come anywhere. but one has to have that personal creativity to pick up on these kinds of idea. Now, you have to ask yourself, is there a meaningful problem to solve? No? So would it be addressing a certain need or want from the customer's point of view? Now, customers need not define it. You, as the creator or innovator, may feed that to the customer, and customer will eventually realize that they need it. But the thing about it is that sometimes the engineer or the designer will not be the only one in the picture in a startup group. For instance, you need to have more heads, no? Because as you take it off to the next level in terms of the marketing part, a business person is better than perhaps an engineer or an architect to market a product, or one that has an IT platform, because all companies right now need to have that IT engagement. Then you need to have a hustler, a hacker for that, and an IT person has to be brought in. That's why in a startup group, usually you need to have a hacker, a hustler, and a hipster. And a hipster, of course, is the designer that usually toys starts off with that idea. But more heads must be put in a team in order for it to be mobilized. Now, Guy Kawasaki suggests a useful thought exercise when faced with new trends. Ask yourself, therefore, what? So how do you develop that kind of idea? So ask yourself, therefore, what? For example, everyone will have a smartphone with a camera and internet access. And therefore, what? No, they will be able to take pictures and share them. Therefore, what? We should create an app that lets people upload their photos, rate the photos of others, and post comments. And voila, there's that Instagram. Okay, so that led to idea generation and mobilization. Stage 2 is all about advocacy and screening. The following are your guide questions. Is this what we intend to do for the next years? Are we prepared mentally, financially, emotionally to commit to this? What resources do we need to help us achieve our vision? Or is the market significant enough? So we have had our accelerator competition in SLU, and this is our criteria for judging. A number of entries came in. So we have the criteria for innovation, creativity, sustainability, and motivation. So I will not bore you with the content of each of the boxes, because as it is, it's self-explanatory when you talk about what innovation is all about, what creativity is all about, what sustainability is all about, and what motivation is when it comes to the team that you have created, because team is very important. You may have a brilliant product. If the team that supports it is not the proper team, then it will all come for naught. So it will all turn out to be a failure. So in that acceleration competition that we have had in SLU, these are the winners. So we move on to stage 3, which is experimentation. These are your guide questions. How can we build an MVP or minimum viable product with little resources? How to test with early customers? And how can we refine the value proposition? So this is really a market validation, aside from the market validation. This is one of the
users will be rate the
group.
users of their preference by taking fees. Of course, as safety is a
I'll
must.
just
Scopes
move it
must be
forward,
fixed, which includes
because
an
I may
authorized
be
organization area
running out of time. So this is
business
the
idea that
validation that
nobody
this
really
group of
wants is
students
not
have
a
done
business.
when it comes
That's
to
why
their
the past
product,
months,
the
we've been
Cantina.
simulating
So
surveys
it's a
to gauge
product
how
that
our
which
app would be
would
received.
that
Aside from
this
that,
was born
we've
out
also been
during the
pitching to
pandemic
other students
when
in our
people were not
university.
able to go out,
And
so they
recently,
just
we've had our
order
first few
and they
customers and
were able
cooks.
to map out all
From what we've
these
gathered, delivery is a crucial element
food
to their
stores
business,
within the
as cooks
area,
and customers
and they
aren't in close
were able
proximity
to,
as what we have hoped
you know,
for.
put this
Aside from that,
into a
we've had
commercialized
positive
phase
feedback
actually. So
overall.
they did the market
With all that being
validation,
said,
it
we
did
plan
so
to have an
well,
app
and
launch
they
within
also
the next few
executed
months,
that. It's
since
just
as
that
of the
these
moment,
guys
it's already in
already
development.
graduated and they're
And the
IT
months
people,
following that, we're
so
going to be
it was
focusing
just
on
for a
acquiring customers
university
and have our
exercise.
first 1,000 within the next 6 months.
Okay. So there. So the next is the commercialization phase. In St. Louis University, we are still not into the commercialized phase. Although we have our intellectual property policy in place, there's already some information there on the what you call partition, no? The 50-50 or 50-75, a 75-25 combination of allocation, if just in case a product would sell, will be bought by some investors or producers, etc. So we put it in place, but we are still in the process of kickstarting the realization of our IP policy. Diffusion and implementation. So this is the stage where you already are successful and it's out in the market and it's being bitten by the customers, but at the same time, from a commercialization phase, you also, as you move forward with this one, you go for iteration and you it may yield new ways of doing things, new forms of innovation, and so that's basically how things are now in the Times Higher Education that we just went. Part of our experience was actually a field operations of two high-end technological products. One company in China is titled Shox, and the other one company is actually Mindray. So, but I'll just be showcasing one short video clip that I got myself last November 8th in Shenzhen, China.
Our brand name. We used to call ourselves Aftershocks, but later we changed our name to Shocks, and we add open as a prefix for our products. Yeah, because we are making open ear headphones, so open become our slogan, and open is the prefix. Open com and open com.
Okay, so if you are wondering what this product is all about, it's actually a product. It's like an ear, a hearing device, but it what you call it facilitates you being secured and safe while running. It's for marathoner. It's for runners. As you put it on, you actually are quite open to ambient sounds around you. Because sometimes when you put on an ear phone, you hardly ever hear anything around you, and you might already be hitting a car, and the possibility that you might die in the process. But this one, the Shox product, actually senses something on your bone, cheekbone, which would make you be alarmed on what's happening in your environment. So the product has really gone through a process of, in fact, when I tried this product on, the OpenFit is the best product ever that they have right now. Although they have so many products in the market, OpenFit, OpenRun, so many brands, but yet the what you call the host was telling us that this is so far the best product in the market. However, he also gave us a good tip that soon a new product will be coming out. So I don't know how it may be titled. So the cost is around 100 plus, $100 to $200. So now I end my presentation with the usual cliche. No, this is a kind of line that is very familiar to everybody by Peter Drucker: "Innovate or die." So we started off with innovation. So this is just a wisdom that even in our personal lives we have to embrace, so that we continually accelerate and improve on the ways that we do things. And also a reminder from Randy Bass: the only rule is that any new project has to break at least one rule. So that means you never stop churning, you never stop transforming, revolutionizing, and improving. And that's how to embrace innovation. I'd also like to acknowledge the inputs of some of my slides coming from our own Erasmus Plus project in SLU, Beehive, which is entitled Building Entrepreneurial Ecosystems to Enhance Higher Education Value Added for Better Graduate Employability. And so thank you all for listening and for being there to join me in this conversation on innovation.